Good morning. Happy Thursday. Yeah. Amazon. Flash briefing.
Jamie, here's your flash briefing. In NPR News.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Windsor Johnston. Emergency crews are working to contain catastrophic wildfires that are raging across the island of Maui. Officials in Hawaii say at least 36 people have died and an estimated 11,000 people have been evacuated.
Oh, man.
Emergency management spokesperson Adam Weintraub says the historic town of Lahaina has been devastated.
Lahaina obviously has been some of the most shocking footage. Some of the photos we saw from the air reminded me of photos of Dresden in World War II after the fire bombings. There are hundreds of structures that were damaged or destroyed.
Forecasters say the wildfires have been fanned in part by strong winds from Hurricane Dora. Emergency teams are combing through some of the hardest hit areas, searching for survivors. President Biden is expected to highlight his administration's efforts to help U.S. military veterans and their families during a stop today in Salt Lake City, Utah. NPR's Tamara Keith has more.
The PACT Act was bipartisan legislation meant to help veterans at increased risk of asthma, cancer, and other illnesses because of exposure to burn pits and other sources of toxins as they served their country. According to new numbers released by the White House, since President Biden signed the law 1 year ago, more than 4.1 million veterans have received screening for toxic exposures, and nearly 350,000 veterans and survivors have gotten health care and other benefits. Biden will speak at a VA medical center in Salt Lake City as part of a Western swing where he's worked to draw attention to the results of legislation passed in his first 2 years in office. Tamara Keith, NPR News, Salt Lake City.
A key witness took the stand yesterday in a redistricting trial in Galveston, Texas. Houston Public Media's Andrew Schneider says the case is the first major trial of its kind since the U.S. Supreme Court upheld a key clause of the Voting Rights Act in June.
William Cooper has more than 30 years of experience as an expert witness in redistricting cases. He most recently advised the plaintiffs in Allen versus Milligan, the case in which the Supreme Court upheld Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which bans racial discrimination in redistricting. Cooper testified that, in his view, the Republican-majority Galveston County Commissioners deliberately dismantled the county's one voting district in which Black and Latino residents comprised a majority of voters. The GOP commissioners enacted a map in 2021 that split Blacks and Latinos among all four of the county's voting districts so that they did not comprise a majority anywhere. Cooper called the move, quote, a textbook example of racial gerrymandering. For NPR News, I'm Andrew Schneider in Galveston.
Ridiculous.
On Wall Street, the Dow was up 247
If you live in that
points.
county,
This
that's
is
where your vote's
NPR.
counted.
Two associates of former President Donald Trump appeared in a Florida courtroom this morning. They're facing charges related to Trump's handling of classified documents after he left the White House in 2021. The first associate, Walt Nata, entered a not guilty plea. The second aide, Carlos de Oliveira, did not enter a plea because he doesn't have a local attorney. A powerful storm came ashore in South Korea, bringing heavy rains and disrupting transport as it makes its way up the peninsula. NPR's Anthony Kuhn reports that at least one person has died and another is missing due to the storm.
Tropical storm Kanun dumped more than a foot of rain on southern parts of the country, causing flooding and landslides. Hundreds of flights and trains were canceled, roads, schools, and parks were closed, and thousands of residents were evacuated. The storm is expected to continue northward, crossing the border into North Korea around midnight Thursday local time. A typhoon taking such a path is unprecedented in more than 7 decades of record-keeping. The North Snowdong Shinmun newspaper instructed citizens to protect statues and murals depicting the country's leaders from
Just
storm
protect
damage.
your lives. Protect your lives.
Insisted
Don't
that
go out
people's
there
safety
trying to
was
protect
the top
statues
priority.
in the middle of a storm. Come on.
Anthony Kuhn, NPR News, Salt.
Stocks are trading higher across the board
Priorities,
on Wall Street
man.
at this hour. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 231 points. The Nasdaq
If you
Composite
rebuild a
also
statue,
trading
protect
higher,
yourselves.
up
Don't
91.
listen to that guy.
I'm Windsor Johnston, NPR News in Washington.
Hey, it's A. Martinez here to tell you about NPR Plus. NPR Plus gives you access to sponsor-free versions of your favorite NPR podcasts, such as Up First, and even special bonus episodes from shows such
Amazon.
as Fresh Air.
Skip.
In NASA news, each year, NASA scientists, engineers, and developers create software packages to manage space missions, test spacecraft, and analyze the petabytes of data produced by agency research satellites. As the agency innovates for the benefit of humanity, many of these programs are now downloadable and free of charge through NASA's software catalog.
Bummer.
NASA will provide live coverage beginning at 10:15 a.m. EDT Wednesday, August 9, as 2 Roscosmos cosmonauts conduct a spacewalk to upgrade the International Space Station. The spacewalk
That's
is
a
expected
job.
to
That's
begin
not a
about
spacewalk.
10:45 a.m.
It's gonna
and
take
last
all
up
day.
to 7 hours.
7 hours. That's a job.
Fellow crew members now are assigned to launch on NASA's SpaceX Crew 8 mission for a long-duration stay aboard the International Space Station.
They're going to work. They're not spacewalking.
As part of the state's first Earth to
It's not a
Space
leisurely
call,
walk.
students from Louisiana will have an opportunity soon to hear from NASA astronauts aboard the International
Again,
Space
it's
Station.
Lewis and Anna.
NASA and
Lewis
Axiom
Anna
Space have
sitting
signed
in
an
a
order
tree,
for the
not
4th
Louise.
private astronaut mission to the International
Not the
Space
Jungle Book.
Station, targeted to launch no earlier than August 2024 from the agency's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. In weather. In Seattle, it's 63 degrees Fahrenheit with mostly cloudy skies. Today's forecast calls for more of the same, with a high of 72 degrees and a low of 58 degrees.
All
From
right.
NASA.
Amazon.
Each year,
Off. Amazon. Tell us a joke.
I love math, but you know what's a bit odd? Numbers that aren't divisible by 2.
Is it a bit odd or is it all the way odd? I mean, come on. Anyways, have a great Thursday. Yeah, hang on to that hammer.